Hey y'all, I am Niyah, back with another episode of Niyah News. This is episode 9. Y'all, I have missed y'all. It's been a month, and let me explain. First things first, I was finishing my master's program. I got it done. I ended my program with a 4.0. I'm very happy, very proud of myself. I just got a master's in business administration and I will be graduating in December. Nonetheless, I started last August, finished this August, walked that year down, and I'm very happy to be done. But in getting done, I had to set aside a lot of time to just finish strong, right? And in doing so, I didn't have as much time for the podcast. So I'm back, I'm better, I'm another degree hotter, and I'm feeling great. Saying that to say this, let's jump right into it. What have I been eating? Y'all, I'm trying to get into cooking more, right? And eating out less. In doing so, I also don't eat pork and I don't eat beef. So, lately I've been cooking this turkey spaghetti because y'all, I also be needing something that I can pack to lunch, and I'm not into sandwiches right now. I don't know what it is. I'm the type of person, sometimes when I like something, I will eat it into the ground and then I will not like it for a while. So right now I'm eating turkey spaghetti. I've made it, I like it, I enjoyed it, my family enjoyed it. I'm like, okay, this is good, this is great. So been eating turkey spaghetti. What have I been watching, y'all? I have really been into the podcast. So I binge watched all of Let's Rap About It episodes. If y'all haven't seen, Let's Rap About It is a podcast with Jim Jones, Davies, Mano, and Fabulous. And I love it, y'all. It's like chilling with your uncles and your dad. Just to give y'all some context, I always feel like that's the best explanation of it. But it's just a lot of things from their perspective. Not too deep, but it's just, I kind of feel like guy banter, which is fun sometimes. It is fun sometimes. And then I've also been watching According to Blake. Y'all, love Blake's podcast. And it's like she says so much of what I'm thinking, so it just flows so well. And listening to what she's saying, and it also, I like how she turns you on to a lot of other content and bring up like other creators that she likes. So it's just been a really good time and listening to the podcast, seeing different interviews and things of that nature. As for what I am reading this book right now called DuPont Empire. Y'all know I'm a Wattpad girly, so of course I'm reading it on Wattpad. And it's a romance book, but it also has something to do with the supernatural. So y'all, it's some vampires in there, some witches. And this is my first time ever reading like a fantasy book as of such, or like that. But hey, I like this author. I read another book by her before, and I was like, okay, I can get into it. I could try it out. And so far, so good. I like it. And I probably will read another one. It's just like, I love the romance aspect. So it's like, if you got the romance and you got the black people here, and it's especially like a urban romance, all right, I can get with some other stuff as well. We can do a little fantasy here and there. So yeah, that's what I've been eating. That's what I've been watching. And that's what I've been reading. Let's get to pop culture. A lot has been going on. First things first, last week, Hayden Panettiere passed away from an overdose, and her birthday was on Friday, y'all. That really shook my heart. I love Bring It On. I love Hayden Panettiere. And it was just like seeing her in so much as we was growing up, like whether it was the Ice Princess, Bring It On, and it's something else. She was in so much, but it's like, it really broke my heart to have to see that coupled with the fact that she just came out with a book and she just released so many different interviews as well, in which she had to talk about addiction, in which she was also talking about being a child star. And that brings me to my next point of, should we have child stars? I got to thinking about that because I think it's very unfortunate that we have so many people who were once a child star, whether it was on Disney, Nickelodeon, what have you, whatever they were on, right? And as they've gotten older, or even while they were young, a lot of them have had to face addiction. A lot of them have had to face homelessness. A lot of them have been estranged from their families. A lot of them may not have even lived past a certain, past a certain age, or got to live long lives because of the quality of their life when they were younger. And I just think that is so unfortunate. And it's just like, do I think there should be child stars? I don't know now. I don't know, because the pressure that that brings to a child, I don't think children should have to deal with that. I don't think children should have to bear the brunt of being financially responsible for their families. I don't think children should have to deal with the fact that their parents are not treating them as if they are their child, but instead their money mule. I don't think that they should have to deal with that. I don't think that they should have to be forced to work extra long hours or have to be put in environments where they could be even more vulnerable to sexual abuse and sexual misconduct and sexual harassment. I just don't think these things are appropriate. And I know there are going to be people who say, hey, these are their feelings of their parents. But at times, I feel like there should be systems, not at times, at all times, there should be systems put in place that can stop parents from hurting their children or harming their children or putting them in situations that we all know are unfortunately going to end up in a predicament where these children are going to be harmed. I just don't think it's okay. And I think the modern version of that is the TikTok, the YouTube, the Instagram, where mommy vlogs and everything is centered around these kids to where they're not your child stars, to where they're starring in a TV show as a child, but they are the center of attention. And I think that also is something that needs restrictions around it. I believe it was California that has set up a law around the fact that, like, if you're gonna make your child an influencer or a content creator, you have to set up specific accounts to where they will be able to access that money at a point in time. Because that's another thing. These children, not only are they being forced to overwork or being put in situations that are dangerous, they're also not even getting to reap the benefits of their work always. So that's another thing. It's like, yes, these parents should be forced to not be spending all of these kids' money. Like, you should have to set something to the side. These kids, when they are 18, when they are entering adulthood, or when they even experience it, they should have access to their money. I'm not saying that a child knows how to balance or completely take care of their financials, but what I am saying is, upon adulthood, you should be getting paid for the work that you've done in your childhood. Even if you weren't in control of it then, there needs to come a point in time where that check is in their hand. And yes, and I also feel like parents, I do feel like, once again, we have to go back to the fact that we need restrictions. Even in today's age, the vlogs, the family channels, all of such. I'm not saying that there's not an appropriate way to include your kids in your content, but I am saying that your kids should not be forced in front of a camera every single day for thousands and thousands of people for you to just treat them as if, once again, they're a work mule, and you are taking the money, you are trying to force them to be these child stars that they don't always want to be. That's like, for an example, I think Hayden Panettiere's mother also came out with a statement, which Hayden Panettiere and her mom were estranged. And she was saying how basically they were mostly estranged because her mom didn't know how to not be her manager. Like, her mom didn't realize or didn't understand how to just be her mom. And her mom had made a statement about the fact that she was facing struggles. And when people go down those paths, that's what happens to them. So she's gotten a lot of backlash and since has cleaned it up. And also, too, sidebar, I don't know if I believe that Hayden Panettiere actually harmed herself or accidentally overdosed. Her being with that ex or being with that current boyfriend who was an abuser, and him and his brother being in an apartment with her while they had Narcan, this sounds like suspicious activity. I'm not truly believing just yet that she accidentally overdosed. I need to see all the facts, and I want it all to come out, because I'm not ruling him out as a suspect. I need to know, how did y'all just let her die like that? And y'all had the Narcan, y'all had access to things. And I also feel like, with her doing drugs, more than likely, when you see women who are on drugs, they boyfriends always do drugs as well. Or they boyfriend or their husband is also doing drugs. So it's like, you're not getting that past me, love. But yes, so her mom was basically like, when your child wants to chase a dream, you want to support your child in so many ways, or like hold them to a certain standard. Because Hayden was also saying how, like, even when she would get praise on set, if her mother wasn't pleased, she wouldn't feel like she did good, because she knew at the end of the day, basically, when she went home, her day would ultimately be ruined by her mother being displeased. Like, her mother would make this situation uncomfortable with the fact that she felt like she didn't do her best or couldn't do this or didn't do that. So saying that to say, Hayden's mom got called out when she said that, because it's like, you had Hayden in commercials at 5 months. By the time she was 5 years old, she had already did over 50 commercials. Saying that to say, you didn't have her in that because that was her dream. You had her in it because that's what you wanted for your child, right? So it comes a point in time where it is like, I think it is okay to support your children and what they want to do. And I know that some people are a child prodigy. Some people are going to be child actors. Some people do want to chase those dreams early on. However, I do feel like there should be safety nets put up. There should be restrictions put up. And also, too, you as the mother should support your child also still getting to be a child. You know, that line can blur so easily when people are relying on their children to be financially responsible for their whole family. Okay, and that's that. So rest in peace to Hayden Panettiere. Praying for her and her daughter. Oh my gosh. Just it's just extremely sad, and I just wish the best for all other child actors too, especially navigating the industry and what they want to do now, and just navigating possibly addiction, homelessness, and all the other things. So just incredibly sad. Wishing them well. Next topic: birth control. For some reason right now I'm on Twitter, and everybody's, well, on my TL, I keep hearing different conversations about birth control, and it all came from this one tweet where they was basically saying, I don't understand why y'all would get on birth control just for you can have basically for a man's pleasure, basically, in so many words. And I think that statement, which the statement was more so along the lines of, y'all all on birth control just for a man to be able to blank in you. Well, no, that's actually not what this is. Birth control has many uses. Of course, the main one is the fact that you want to avoid having children, right? But beyond that, it also can help you to regulate your period. It also can help with hormonal acne or other hormonal things that you have going on. So it's like it has a couple different purposes. But beyond that too, I don't like statements like that because it strips away a woman's agency. And I say we because I am on birth control. I was on birth control as a teenager to regulate my period, and I've been on birth control. I'm 26 now. I've been on birth control again since I was 22. I prefer the pill method. Nonetheless, I will say this. We as women choose to get on birth control for the agency over ourselves. It doesn't even always have to do anything with sex. If you do not want to have a child, it's best to be on birth control. Yes, you can abstain, right? But if you are a person who possibly may be sexually active at any given time, you already want to have those measures in place. On top of that, like I said too, you may use it. I prefer to use it because I like to track my period. I want to know when I'm coming on. I want to avoid coming on at certain times, things of that nature. I know other people have done it for certain hormonal reasons. I don't feel like we need to strip women away from their agency. Because another thing is, I hate when people act like pregnancy is just something that happens to you. I like pregnancy is something that falls out the sky. You should be taking preventative measures. Birth control should be the main one if you do not want to get pregnant. You know, of course you do have condoms, but condoms break. Then somebody, it's like all of these things, I don't feel like they should be discussed. And also too, it doesn't come down to a man's pleasure. I feel like a lot of times people strip away the fact that women can enjoy pleasure as well. Like, it's not even always about sex. It's just about the fact that people take away the fact that women have humanity, women have emotions, and the emotions don't always have to be in labor of someone else. It can simply be that you want to enjoy something, and then doing and wanting to enjoy something, you're going to take the preventative measures to do so. So when you get done enjoying it, you're in a position where you can continue to enjoy your life in the way it is now. And once again, a lot of these conversations come back to the fact that y'all don't really want women to have agency. Y'all might say y'all want them to, but I feel like a lot of times, I think motherhood is a beautiful thing, and I think it is, mothers make the world go round. However, people try to use children as a means and a way to control you. They will say, because at the same time, although mothers make the world go round, people will try to demean a mother in a minute. People try to be inconsiderate to mothers in a minute. They do not, they only want to talk about these kids in regards in the way that they feel like kids should be able to hold you back and control you, which is not true. But just saying it to say women are not seen as beings who are deserving of pleasure. So people do be feeling like, oh, you want to go out and have sex, you should have the consequence of a baby. Although babies are blessings, I do feel like people sometimes refer to children as a way to punish women. Moving on to the next thing. Soraya and Joey Badass. So Soraya released a statement today on her Instagram basically saying she's ending her engagement, she's ending her relationship with Joey Badass, and that there has been some infidelity in some very special moments in her life, or times that were supposed to be very high times for her. And she was saying that's all she's willing to share. Moving forward, they're going to try to do their best to be there for their son. But yes, I wanted to talk about this because I feel like Megan Thee Stallion got a lot of backlash earlier this year when she posted that she was breaking up with Clay because of the infidelity, right? And there was a lot of people who was like, why didn't she keep this private? You know, at the end of the day, she didn't have to tell anybody because that's her own business. She don't need to embarrass herself. And I don't think it's a bad thing for the girlies to go publicly go and make a public statement for their breakup. These are people that they've publicly dated, that they're publicly showed their love for, and in doing so, if they want to say, hey, we're no longer together. And in Soraya's case, it's going to be different because they have a child together. So they're always going to be associated with each other. But Megan and Clay don't have a child. So if she wants to completely disconnect, she can. Now, will people remember that they were together? Yes. Will there be pictures still on the internet? Yes. But at the end of the day, they're allowed to move on and will not have to deal with each other. So whatever she says about him, there will be no repercussion on her because it's like, I don't have to deal with that man. Now, Soraya does have to keep it cuter because Eddie is still her son's father, But nonetheless, I think the girlies are allowed to go online and say, hey, I'm not with him no more. And I also think there needs to be more shame around men cheating. As we advance as women, as we get more rights, as we move forward in society, we have to bring back shame. And that's not okay. That's not okay that a man can still continue on with his life even if he's cheated on you while you was going through postpartum, even if he's cheated on you while you were pregnant. And I'm not saying that's exactly what happened in Soraya and Joey's, but when she says high times in her life, and we know that a recent high time for her was being able to have her child, or even just different things in your career, that's not acceptable for a man to be cheating on you while you're trying to advance your career, when you have a big project coming out, when it is your birthday, when it is Christmas, when you have these high times in your life. Men need to be shamed for cheating. They need to. And I know we live in a patriarchal society in which they won't be shamed because we feel like, or there's a lot of people who will push the programming of, hey, men cheat, that's just what it is. And yeah, I do feel like men should get shamed for it. And I also feel like that embarrassment has to be taken off women. Like, at the end of the day, women are the person getting, well, in these situations, like, yes, those are two women who were in the position of getting cheated on. Like, they're not the cheater. They're not the ones who are disloyal. They're not the ones who have anything against their character. They're the ones who are leaving the situation with their integrity intact, So at that point, I do feel like the shame should be taken off women. Why is it so shameful that you got cheated on when you're not the person who didn't keep your word, who embarrassed your person, who didn't uphold what they were supposed to uphold, whether that was a marriage, whether that was a relationship, whether that was your home, anything, who didn't protect what was supposed to be sacred? That wasn't you. So I feel like the shame needs to be placed on men. It really does. Or it needs to be placed on the cheater. If you're the one cheating, you need to be the one who is being shamed. Simple as that. And I also don't think it's a problem. If the girlies want to share the truth, the girlies can share their truth. Am I a private person? Yes. Would I necessarily share that I went through a breakup? I don't know. I'm in a place right now where probably not. But at the same time, too, I wouldn't share my man with y'all. I don't think it's a problem with sharing your man. But if they want to share their man, they can also share it while they broke up. And especially when it was something as serious as infidelity. Hey, this person betrayed me. I'm going to tell my story. I'm about to control the narrative. I don't think nothing's wrong with that. So that's that on that. As for my lesson of the week, y'all, and this has pretty much really been my lesson over the last 2 months. And that is, it is okay to ask for help. About, I think, a month and a half ago, I had went to therapy. And my therapist, I was telling her something along the lines of my struggle with vulnerability. And she was just telling me how a lot of that comes from me being hyper independent. And in trying to not be as hyper independent, I have to learn how to ask for help. And I thought I was good at that because, like, a lot of times I will still ask, but I didn't realize how much I was trying to still do by myself, right? So I'll say that to say this. Last month, on July the 12th, I believe, my dad got shot. But my dad got shot while I was on a cruise. So as I was on a cruise, he gets shot in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m. I find out the next day at like 10 a.m., right? It was the day that we were going to dock. So a mother's intuition, me and my mom was not in the same room. She ended up knocking on my door right at the time where I had just got off the phone with my sister about my dad getting shot. I tell my mom what happened, but I didn't want to tell the rest of my family, basically. I didn't want to tell them till we had left the land and got back on the boat. Because I'm like, this is our one day on land. Let's enjoy the Bahamas. And then when we get back on the boat, I'll just break the news to everybody. So I tough it out. We go on land. I don't tell anybody. Now, my mom is one of those people, like, she will tell her mom. My grandmother was there. My mom don't mind sharing stuff. So boom, as we are getting back on the boat, my grandmother had pulled me to the side and was like, is your dad okay? So I, and this is my grandmother, my mom's mom. She's like, is your dad okay? And I tell her, and then as we get back on the boat, something had happened where I was like making a face or something, and my mom had got really concerned for me. And the girlie I was rooming with, she's kind of like a cousin to me, like, you know, she's a really close family friend. So she was just like, what happened? Like, your dad got shot? And by the time I had got back to the room, I was really just crying about it, because thankfully my dad survived. But it was a lot to have to compartmentalize the fact that my dad got shot. He is okay, but I'm trying to enjoy this vacation while also y'all not in the know of what's going on. And me and her had a really good heart-to-heart conversation about the fact that I didn't have to hold that in. I wasn't going to ruin anybody's vacation. And this is something that happened to me outside of my control. So it just really let me know, and getting to be vulnerable in those moments and other moments since then that I've had to be vulnerable, it really let me know that there's no problem with asking for help, and that I don't have to be a perfect person. I don't have to show up perfect. I don't have to show up with it all together. I'm allowed to be who I am as I am. And moving forward, I just want to move like that. I want to understand that I'm not perfect. You know, I'm not perfect. I don't have to be this perfect person. And when I need help, ask for it. And before I even try to overload my plate, just understanding that it's okay to ask people. It's okay to delegate. It's okay to balance it out. And it's okay to say no too. So, yes, my lesson of the week, my lesson of the month, my lesson moving forward is it is okay to ask for help. I don't have to have it all together. And I'm never going to have it all together. And that's something I'm having to learn to accept. So I hope y'all last week went beautifully. I hope this week goes beautifully. I cannot wait to see y'all in my next episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, leave me a comment if there's anything you want to see me talk about.